We are here at the Read Freely Festival. It's 9 o'clock. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to meet some new authors. Let's get it. Here's our author.
Alright, so my name is E.R. Bell. I have 2 books that I'm selling today. The first one is The African Bride in the Siren's Dark Song. This is a story of a siren and a bone collector. The bone collector is surviving off of Siren's voices because he's been cursed by a king. And then they're going to work together to figure out how they can shake it. Ione is not going down without a fight by any means. In this one, we have wolf shifters who've made a covenant with the local town to get brides in exchange for protection. So in that exchange for protection, the brides are selected every year to go. Well, this particular year, Mira says, I'm going to volunteer to go because I'm taking out the king.
Okay, now.
So she's going to go and figure out a way to break them out of the covenant so that they don't have to have brides taken anymore every year. So these are my 2.
I love it. What inspired you to write them?
So I've been writing probably since 2014, 2013. I started in nonfiction, but I'm an English girly and I love fantasy, and I've always had these stories kind of like in my brain.
Yeah.
So when I started my master's program in creative writing, I had no choice to get them out. So
I love it.
I'm not gonna just get them out of my head. I'm gonna give them to y'all for y'all
All
to be able to
right.
read.
Well, I thank you so much. Actually, I want to go ahead and get 2 copies. Let me go ahead and get 2 copies off of you. Can I tap to pay?
Oh, absolutely. Let me
Ashley, can you tell me about your book? So yes, my book is basically about my peace journey, how I gained my peace, along the way, and just trying to help others gain peace. Just peace feels so good to me, and I just could not bottle all of this up. I had to share it, with others. So it's a practical book. Nothing too hard. It's simple ways that you can simply, gain some peace. It just talks about, how you can gain peace in nature. I talk about, I put a little bit of my social work education in there, different theories, how you can change your thought patterns, to bring yourself peace. We go to church in there, I talk about how you can find peace in God. It's a little bit of everything. It's a really good book. It's beginner friendly. If you are someone who is looking for peace and stuck, you don't know what peace looks like, you don't know where to begin, this book would be the perfect book for you.
Man, thank you so much. I think you gave me all of it, really. I don't gotta ask no more questions. But I really appreciate it. When did you publish this book?
So this book was published last year in September.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. Here's the book again. All right. This is the shirt. I would like for you to tell me about your book.
Okay. All right. So Sparks in the Moment is, we basically have Kayani. She is heartbroken, going through depression, and it's the 4th of July, and it's her grandmother's birthday. So, family don't care what you're going through. They need you to run to the store. You got to go run to the store.
Exactly.
So she meets a guy at the store. He helps her, and he sees like she's a whole hot mess. So, he's just being chivalrous, leaves, goes about his business. But they end up running into each other again. And at that moment, he decides, yeah, that's mine. That's mine. So she's learning to allow herself to be loved while he's being patient, waiting for her. She also does poetry. So she takes him with her to the spot, and it's her cousin's poetry spot, which is this cousin. And this cousin, she's total opposite. She's like, I don't need no man. I'm all about my money.
Okay. You don't need no man?
Yes, she don't need no man. She's a business owner, entrepreneur, and she runs into an old college friend, and he always had a crush on her. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna get you now. Like,
what inspired you to write your book?
Life my friend's business, just ideas that came to my mind, and this is just what I've always been writing. I've been writing since I was like in elementary school. So this is just my way of self-expression. And I was supposed to write these books like 5 years ago.
Right.
And it came a little bit later, but it's always on time.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for telling me about your books. Can you tell me what inspires you to write your book?
Yes. What inspired me for my book is I went through dark times during COVID time, and I was in an abusive relationship. And one way to write poetry, when I went through those situations, I wanted to like express how I feel inside and just write everything, just to escape. It's my way of expressing myself, just to escape and just be free with myself, to bettering myself as a person. And then after writing this book, it just made me a stronger person that I went through it with.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that about your book. Can you give me like a brief summary of all your books?
Yeah, I write about leaving toxic religion. I write about divorce, and I write about exploring your passion. So What Makes You Fart is about, like, when I go in bookstores or sometimes libraries, I have to fart. And I realize it's because I'm happy and everything is just like
I agree.
going how it's supposed to go. So when people want to know, how do I figure out what I love to do, what I'm made to do? It's like, well, what makes you fart? It's kind of a joke, but I found that it's
I love it.
It really is kind of real.
I love it.
So this isn't just about farts. It's about like figuring out what you love and finding ways to do it.
Okay, well,
So I used to cut up things and make books and all the stuff when I was a kid. So now I take old kids' books and I cut the illustrations out and then I glue my poems on it. So
I love this one. Here's your close-up interview. Can you tell me all about your book?
Yes. So my name is Russell Earl Jr., local author here in Columbia, and I wrote a book called Until I Came Home, a Sunset's Journal. It's a travel memoir about my backpacking experience through South America for 6 months. Ended up leaving my job, buying a one-way ticket, and going somewhere I'd never been before, didn't know the language, and wasn't sure when I would be home at that time. But I learned a lot from that. I mainly wanted to write the book because it's something that hopefully they encourage people to step out on faith and do things that they're passionate about. It doesn't necessarily have to be about traveling, but just getting out there and taking a chance on yourself and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Here is the book, you guys, Until I Came Home, a Sunset Journal. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, can you state your name?
Hi, I'm Amberly.
Hi, Amberly. Can you please tell me why you wrote your book?
So these are actually books. It is 13 to 18-year-old queer youths who've submitted their poetry, short stories, and artwork, and they're published. So we have 3 volumes out right now. 4th is accepting submissions starting April 1st, so next week. They are always free to read on our website. We don't want to have anything that blocks queer youth from not being able to read other queer youth stories.
Beautiful.
So that's what we're here for, just to kind of spread the word about our little journal for them.
I love it. And when did you publish it?
The first one was 2023. Yeah, the first one was 2023. 2024, 2025, and 2026 submissions open April 1st.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much.
For Read Freely Fest. Welcome to the Read Freely Fest, where stories find good company. Richland Library is a sensory inclusive certified place. So Culture City sensory bags and sensory spaces are located inside of the library. Please ask a staff member if you need assistance or sensory support. My name is Antia Martin with the Richland Library, and it's my pleasure to introduce the panel, Stories That Make Us Swoon. Sierra London is a USA Today bestselling and award-winning author of contemporary and paranormal, romantic, suspense, and women's fiction. Casey Mills is a USA Today bestselling author of over 100 traditionally and independently published novels, including Innocent Intent, Christmas in Spite of You, and You Can Do Damage. Ashley Poston is a New York Times and USA Today bestselling author of over a dozen romance novels for both teens and adults. Kennedy Ryan is a New York Times and USA Today bestselling author who has solidified herself as one of the most influential voices of the finest romance and writers of our age. Now we will have Sarah McBride, who will facilitate our conversation.
You want to go on and talk about your most recent work that you're here to promote today?
I am here promoting You Can Do Damage, which is a mafia-style arranged marriage, and you have your alpha, lovable, touch her and die male, and then you have Nari, who is just, all the things and standing on business with her man. And it is my first arranged marriage, and it is the book that has solidified my love for arranged marriages.
I'm here promoting The Someday Garden, which comes out in June. And it is about a gardener who is dealing with some grief. If you know my books, wow, grief. Never done that before. And she goes to a botanical garden in Maine to basically revitalize it, and she finds a secret garden that might have some time travel shenanigans about it. And we are doing my official hometown book launch here at All Good Books, actually at the Town Theater on June 13th, so everyone get your tickets. It's going to be fun. You're going to be able to read it 3 days before it comes out.
Ooh.
And then also I have a Star Wars book coming out in July. Yeah, listen, the Star Wars book I'm very, very excited about, okay? I'm like, Disney, how much can I talk about it? And Michael Mouse is like, okay. But it's basically, if you've ever ridden Star Tours, imagine that, but a romance. So it's very fun.
All right. I am promoting my Calvary Brothers series. The first book is Fake It Till You Make It, and it is a grumpy, sunshine, small town romance. And my heroine, Anne-Marie, is a down on her luck city girl whose car breaks down 4 hours into her new life in small town West Virginia. Yay, West Virginia! And the hero, Eli, is a grumpy small town vet, and she takes the only job available in town, and they both are faking it till they make it because she knows nothing about pets, and he doesn't have the money to pay her. So,
my goodness.
Yeah, and the second book, A Hard Habit to Break, is on pre-order for August, and it is a second chance romance.
Ooh.
I had said that I was gonna promote Can't Get Enough, which is the book from last year. But when I heard Ashley talking about her book in June, I was like, well, maybe I should talk about Score. That comes out in May 19th. I'm so nervous. But it is book 2 in the Hollywood Renaissance series. The first book is Real, which I love. It is my love letter to Black Hollywood, to Black history, to Black art, to Black love. The entire series is. And if you've read Real, the first book is, it's kind of like got a forbidden edge to it, but it's a cast, it's Hollywood, so it's a cast of characters who are making a movie. So there's always a movie inside of the book, because it's called Bestie Blue. And so the first book, Real, was the director and forbidden, dun dun dun, the actress. And this second book is Monk and Verity, who we met in Real, and you're like, what's going on there? Well, they had a college sweethearts, disastrous breakup, like the worst you can imagine. And she is now the screenwriter of Bestie Blue, and he is the composer for the score. And so they are forced proximity. They are forced to be in the same space if they want to make this movie, which means a lot to both of them and could really catapult both of their careers to the next level. So I'm really excited about it. It's a heroine she's Black, bisexual, has bipolar disorder. I'm like, there's all kinds of things I'm gonna do, so there's all of this intersectionality, and at each intersection there's vulnerability, but there's also power. And so I'm really looking forward to just unpacking their journey. May 19th.
That is so exciting. I cannot wait. Would you like to start with Kennedy and talk about how you came to your craft and why you chose romance as a genre to write in?
I think I am a lifelong romance reader. Like when I say lifelong, I started in the 8th grade. So I talk about this all the time, how I smuggled romance novels into my house because my parents I'm a PK. So my mom's, they're pastors. And my mom was like, ain't gonna be no devil in my house, So I'm like smuggling Harlequin novel, presents in my clothes and sticking, yes, like sliding them into my mattress and hiding them in my closet. But I was obsessed with romance novels from the 8th grade on, until about college, and I kind of stopped reading romance novels, started reading the serious books, and I came back to romance as a reader. My background is journalism, so I always say I thought I was gonna be reporting from a war-torn country, and now I'm writing romance, so from a war-torn, you know what? You know what? Full circle. Yes. So I guess this was destiny. So now I am writing romance novels from a war-torn country, led by a dictator. And so I guess this is full circle. But I started writing romance novels because I needed something just for me. I needed something that felt great to me. My son was diagnosed with autism when he was 2. And I kind of threw myself into that whole journey, and I started a foundation for families who have children with autism, and I ran it for like 11 years, and then I started writing about autism. Everything was just this life. And I was like, I really need something that's just for me. So I started reading romance again and fell in love all over again. And then I was like, well, I am a writer. Maybe I should give it a try. So that's how it happened.
I love it.
So romance has always been my happy place. I don't think I realized it early on, but I was a latchkey kid. So for those of you all who grew up in the 70s, you had the key around your neck, right? You gotta let yourself in, and you can't go nowhere until your mama come home. Mm-hmm. But the one place that I could go was the library. And so that's what I would do. I spent a lot of time in the library reading. I knew all the librarians, they knew me. They knew who was and who wasn't my mama, and so if somebody approached me, they was like, not that one. So again, a safe space, right? Books have always been a safe space. And like Kennedy said, I would come to romance and then I'd move away, come to romance and move away. And when I was in college, which was very stressful for me, I graduated in nursing, but Black Expressions was out. If anybody remember Black Expressions? Okay, all right. Somebody in here is my age, okay? Yes, and you would get your book in the mail, and again, that would be my escape, Black Expressions. And we were so thankful to get those little catalogs in the mail, right? Because it was hard to find our books on the shelf. Even though I went to a historically Black school. Now, I graduated from FAMU, and our books weren't there either. So thank God for Black Expressions that brought our voices to the page and to the masses. And I went on to join the military, and I was a nurse practitioner in the Navy. And again, it was very stressful, right? And so what did I turn to? I went back to romance. Why? I would walk through the hallways, right, with a romance novel in my lab jacket. And it's my job to take care of newborn babies in the nursery, right? I'm a pediatric nurse practitioner. And when I would have a difficult case, sometimes I would just go and unplug and just read one page of romance to settle myself and bring the joy back, right? Because romance is healing. And I still find it to be healing, and that's why I write romance. I write what makes me feel good, because I believe there's other people out there like me who need that feel-good boost, right? That you could just pick up any time of the day. Look, we can afford it most of the time if we don't blow our book budget every month. And so that's what romance does for me. It's healing, right? Yes. So there you have it.
Yeah, like romances are just for comfort and joy, right? It's like where you go to like be hugged in like a warm, safe blanket. I grew up on fan fiction, and thank you. Yeah. Hurrah! The lemon metric for anyone who remembers that. So I didn't come to romance through like romance books. I did read Nora Roberts and like quite a few of those like supernatural romances in my middle school and high school years. But most of my knowledge from romance actually does come from fanfic, because most of fanfic is like romantic or like romantic adjacent. It's like they all talk about like different emotional connections and relationships, and so I feel like every story, no matter what it is a love story between like a character and like maybe the monster trying to kill her, you know. Smash. But so I've always gravitated towards those stories, and I don't know about y'all, but when I write, when I see something on the page, that's how I kind of deconstruct it. That's how I figure out my views on it, and like how I feel in the moment about like a certain level of grief, or like a certain thing that's happening. Like I will write it, and that's how I kind of digest it, because it's really hard otherwise sometimes. And so writing has always been kind of like my comfort and my safe space. And then I found the writing community and the romance community, and I was like, oh, hi guys. And like that was it. I fell in love. It's like we're all trapped in one big tent that might blow away together, and I wouldn't be anywhere else.
So I'm not a traditional author. Like I wasn't that person that said, I'm gonna grow up and be an author, I'm gonna write books and this and that. So I wrote my first books for my daughter, because we lived in a small, predominantly white town. And I said, you need to see what the high school experience looks like for us. So I wrote those books, and that was my first full-length book. And so I was like, well, what else can I do? And I looked at my life, and I've been married for 30 years, be 31 this year. And I am a romance girly through and through. I am in love with love because of the way that I'm loved. And I need that in my books. So I put that in my books. So that's why I chose romance. And emotions are universal. If you can make someone feel something, no matter who they are, you can make a connection. And that was my reasoning for diving into romance. I'm a romance girly. It does not matter what I write, my paranormal, my urban, my contemporary. Romance is the leading lady. Everything else is just the sub-characters. So that's it for me. That's why I write romance. I'm just a romance girly through and through. And to be able to deliver that to readers and give them a happy place, even if it's just for a moment, to give them that, give them a piece of what I have and what I know to be love, that's my reason.
I love it so much. I wish I could remember who said it, but I read somewhere that reading romance is a radical act because if it's a book where the main character is a woman, the book cannot end until the woman is happy.
Well,
which is a radical act. Yes, in every sense of the word, yes. So obviously, by definition, all romance novels are about a central couple, but in all of your books, like there are other, whether it was family, or new family, or friendships, or old friendships, found family. So would you like to talk about like what that adds to a book? These other, relationships that are not smashing?
Are we starting? Romance goes across. Let's be real. We've got romances, we've got our cis relationships. We have all of these different romances, and people who read my books literally will walk up to me and be like, "Do you hate your family?" Because I always write these tragically horrible parents, but then I create a world of found family for them. They have best friends, they have, adoptive families so I think that those relationships are just as important because we don't function in the world with just our families. Mm-hmm. We have so many relationships outside of that, and our families are the hubs, but we have so many relationships outside of that keep us grounded, that give us reality checks, that give us love and things of that nature. So you have to have those in these books. You have to have the realism of what the world looks like from a perspective of what family truly means. And some people don't have blood relatives that they can rely on. So we have these other connections that are universal across the world that we can connect with people, and we are invested in those people and they're invested in us. So I think that they're top priority, and sometimes just as important, because these characters get in our heads, and these background characters, these sub characters are like, no, I want to be the star. So they're just as important sometimes as the main characters. So to your point, yes, it's relevant, and they have to be there in order for you to have the full picture.
Yeah, I love a romance with like a good village, right? And that's what I love about all of y'all's books, is that y'all have such a great village. It's not always a family village, but it's a community of people that support the main characters. And I feel like that is something that we're sometimes lacking in real life, is that connection and that support, because social media like distances us so often from like our community and who we could connect with otherwise. And yeah. What was the question?
It was honestly more of a comment.
Yeah. I just really love writing a big cast of characters that just all love each other in different ways, because love is multifaceted, right? There's romantic love, there's platonic love, there's hate to love. There's a neighborhood rivalry. There's every single connection that you have is some kind of romance. Which romance doesn't have to be a romantic romance. It can be a platonic romance. Mm-hmm. And I love dancing with those themes and those relationships. And it's just so important. And I think y'all all do it just so well. I'm sorry. I'm just starstruck up here, guys.
So when I first came to romance, one of the tenets, or maybe some advice I got from other authors, was write what you know. And what I know is found family. So I spent 23 years in the military. My husband spent 34 years in uniform. And you learn in the military to bloom where you're planted, right? Everywhere you go, you have found family. You have folks that didn't know you a month ago that welcome you into their home, that feed you, that help you learn the school system, help you find stuff while you're living out of the country. And so that's what I bring to my books. Like, that's my reality. That's what I know. I moved every 2 years for, 20 something years. And so for me, my characters in some ways take the same journey that I did, in that you learn about my characters through the people that they come in contact with. Because I learned about myself as I traveled around the world, as I took on different jobs, as I was exposed to other communities. And so I think that happens a lot, even in the bookish community. Like, we connect through books, and that becomes our found family. Like, the bookish community, we're all kind of like found family, right? Like, you find people all over the world that you can call up because you love the same series and connect with them. And I think that's important because, like Casey said, sometimes, like, your family unit, they may not quite get you. Like, you might be weird to them. And and I find the same thing in romance. Like, we all want to see ourselves represented. And so I bring a lot of that to my books. Like, even with Fake It Till You Make It, Anne-Marie, she grew up in an affluent family, but she doesn't connect with them. She ends up connecting with this rural family in West Virginia and their dog Hiccup. Like, that's, like, even with our pets, we can have this connection, this bond where we feel loved and supported, and they know our emotions and our moods, and they cuddle up to us. And so that's how I want my books to feel as well. Like, when you open them, you feel like you can really cuddle up with a Sierra London romance, and that becomes this family sense to you, this safety. So yeah.
I think there was something you were saying about that I really resonated with, is what we learn about a character through different people. And that's one of my favorite things about creating community, is when I'm talking to my mom, there are certain things that come out about me that would never necessarily come out when I'm talking to my romantic partner. And when I'm hanging with my girls, like, there are completely like other facets of myself, very relaxed, completely myself, maybe even saying things in a very unguarded way that you wouldn't see when I'm at work. Or I love the different facets of a character that you learn about seeing them with different people. And I remember when I was growing up sneaking and reading romance novels, especially some of the early ones. Now, you guys, when I say I was reading like the Harlequin Presents, it's like the girl is like 19, of course she's a virgin, and he's like 39, he's a rancher. I mean, it's like, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just this girl and a ranch, and I'm like, where are her people? Like, right. Sweetie, don't do it, I see a lot of times, like, when I'm reading, I'm like, oh my gosh, where's your group chat? Like, where are the people who would tell you this is a bad idea, or who would say, no, you need this or you don't need that? And I love writing friendship groups. Like with the Skyland series, I think of those women as platonic soulmates. And I think that we're in a culture where there's so much emphasis placed on romantic love that when it's something that maybe there's a season in your life where you don't have it, you feel like there's something missing, and I really want to write stories where women see there's not something missing. Maybe there's something waiting, maybe there's something down the road, but nothing's missing. I like writing women who are whole, even before they meet or marry or whatever, they are committed to a wholeness that comes not just from romance. I think about the word integrity, and we think about integrity as like somehow moral, but the base word is integer, which is whole. And so I'm always interested in the integrity of the character, and I think that wholeness comes not just seeing them in love or seeing them swooning or in a great sex scene, but the wholeness of who they are requires that I see them with different groups of people. And so that's kind of how I approach it.